Ladies and gentlemen, today I present to you another Ultra Garage home. This time we have a single story. The other one on my channel, you're gonna see a two-story one. But what if you wanted that ultra luxurious garage where you can park the boat, the RV, create a home gym, create like a car lift situation to have multiple luxurious cars? Well, this is gonna be the home for you. We're in Dundee, Polk County, Florida. Priced in the high 300s. You can actually get this for under $400,000. And if you need the two-story variant, that's gonna be in the fours, like the low to mid fours. Right now, this builder has this brand new community. Some of these homes are move-in ready. This one behind me is actually move-in ready and for sale right now. So if you're watching this, you might be able to buy this actual home. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Joe Denny. I'm a Florida realtor and mortgage broker. I've been doing it for 6 to 7 years. I moved from Bronx, New York originally. Been doing real estate, 6 to 7 years, help hundreds of families out here in Florida. And I want to help you too next, but you may not be ready for that phone call. So what I did was I created a VIP list. There's a QR code on the screen and there's a link down in the description. And you can also visit my website. Any way that you want to find that QR code, you could put some information on what you're looking for. And what I'll do is when I get to the computer, I'll send properties to you right away and I'll make a little video text introducing myself. And whenever you're ready for that phone call, you can reach out to me. So let's get started on this home tour. And also we're doing a first-time home buyer webinar, like virtually. You're gonna find the link as well in the description on the QR code on my website, where we're gonna go over the home buying process in Florida and what to look forward to. There's a lot to unpack here on this property. We'll go over the numbers, the square footage, the bedrooms, bathrooms when I'm in the office later in the home studio. But first, I want to show you the actual home tour. By the way, if you don't want to watch this 30, 40, 50-minute video going over all these different cut scenes and jump scenes and B-rolls and all that, and you just want the actual home tour, I've dedicated a second channel just for that. So if you just want to see the property tours, look in the description. You'll get access to the second channel, which is my team channel, Ogando Group. And you can just see these pretty homes with little background elevator music and not me talking. Right off the entrance, you're gonna have some of the rooms here. We have carpet in the rooms, pretty clean. We have one bathroom here and another room here. Now the actual dimensions of like this first room here is 10.74 by 9.833. And you got these really tall doors, which makes the home feel way more spacious. This is gonna be the first bathroom right over here. Second room here, 10.22 by 9.46. You have a cool window right here too, so if somebody's like coming home from work or something, you can kind of see them before they knock on the door. You can say, hey dad, hey mom, hey cousin, hey husband, hey wife, hey Amazon driver, hey UPS, hey FedEx. Some storage right over here, right off the bat. So for you up northerners, which by the way, I'm originally from New York, from the Bronx, but this is gonna be your coat closet. You can probably put like some racks there, remove some of these, some hangers and stuff. That'd be pretty cool. And we introduce the first flex space. It's not closed off or anything. It's not like a bonus room or anything. But if you were to close it off, if you get like a contractor here, it instantly be like an in-home office, in-home gym, whatever you want to put here. This is dedicated dining room space, but a lot of people now, they want the open floor plans. They don't really make good use of these spaces here. What would you do here? Would you put like a little home office, the gym, the dining table. Let me know in the comments what you guys would do with this space here. And then we got the rest of the house here, which is gonna be living room, kitchen. This flex space here that I was kind of showing you guys, the dimensions are gonna be 13.40 by 11.47. That way, if you wanted to get an idea of what kind of furniture you can fit in here, what the dimensions are, it's gonna be 13.40 by 11.47. Now the HOA in this community is about $101 a month, or $104. You're gonna get the cable, which you're gonna have 180 channels, and you're gonna get 1 gig fiber internet. So just to put it into perspective, I actually used to work at Spectrum, and I have a lot of people that do still work there. It's gonna be a good bargain for you to get all that for $100, because the internet by itself is like $70. And to add like TV stream or something like that is gonna be like $40, $50. So for you to get a fixed, price on that with the HOA agreement, it's gonna be pretty awesome. This is gonna be your kitchen. They're not gonna have the refrigerator and some of these options here, but it might be negotiable. Depending on how far along in the process, they might wanna, get motivated, or they might add the refrigerator. They might give you the washer and dryer as well. But for the most part, the refrigerator is not included, and you're gonna have access to this very nice size pantry. You have a living room here where you can kind of see the cable connection on that wall there. Then you have like another space over there as well. Not sure if you would put like a TV on that wall. Covered lanai, not screened in, just covered, right in the back. And we're saving the best part for the end. You're gonna see that beautiful, nice ultra garage. Let's just go through the interior of the house first. This was that pantry I was telling you about. This is a huge pantry. Look at all this space. I'm gonna have to get like a BJ's membership or Costco or something to be able to fill this up. And then you have the island over here. And you kind of put some seats over here as well. Definitely a very functional floor plan, because you got all these spaces here, you got the space here, and then you got this great opening over here, which is kind of like what I said earlier. It could be your dining room, your flex space, your home gym. You got some of the rooms tucked away on this side of the house, which is where we started the tour at. And then you're gonna have over here your laundry room. It's a pretty basic laundry room, nothing too crazy. Through that door, you're gonna see the garage. Then you have sort of like what do they call these, mud rooms? So I will definitely spruce this up, put some custom things here, something to hang the keys, put the shoes. It looks very plain Jane right now. Now let's go into the, oh wait, not yet. Let's tour the rest of the house first. You finish cooking, cleaning, the laundry's in there, and you're ready to go to bed. So you want to head off to your master suite, your primary suite. Very nice soft carpet in here. 13.61 by 13.13. Which, by the way, the tons in the actual AC in this builder, they give you a few more to just keep it a little bit cooler than other builders do. So that's gonna be awesome for you to get that there. This is gonna be your primary suite. Got the toilet there with the poop door. And then you got the shower here. Nice little size walk-in closet right there. By the way, if you've made it this far in the video, consider subscribing to the channel. We're on our way to 3,000 subs. Well, we might be at 3,000 already, I think. We're on our way to 4,000 subs. Let's get to 4,000 subs, and also follow me on the social media. The reason why I say that is because there are some properties that I visit, and you'll catch the highlight of those property tours behind the scenes on the social media, and you might say, hey, where's that? Like just now, I was here at a meeting, somebody sending me, hey, where's that? And I'm like, might as well make a video of this property if people are asking about it. So when you're following on the social medias, the TikToks, the Instagrams, you'll be able to get a behind the scenes of what it looks like to like tour all these homes and what I'm looking at and a day in the life of a realtor. We're in your garage. Now, they don't actually call it the RV garage, they call it the Ultra garage, but you can kind of see that. You could fit some RV in here, probably get a boat up in here, put some great toys in here like the jet skis, the motorcycles, additional cars. Get some AC going up in here and create like your own in-home gym. This can be quite possibly the ultimate man cave or woman cave or just cave, where you can kind of get like a projector going, right? Projecting over there to kind of seeing like a movie, or watching me on YouTube and these awesome home tours and staying up to date because you decided to subscribe to the channel today. And if you have like an electric car or the RV, this is kind of like the same plug. I think it's a NEMA 1450 or something. The electric cars use that, so you can plug in your Tesla right there or any electric car. What would you guys park in here? Or what kind of creative ideas do you have that you would use this garage for? Drop it down in the comments, let me know. We're back at the home studio, and now we're gonna talk about a few things about this property. I'm gonna share my screen here to kind of give you guys an overview of what I'm looking at here. This is in Dundee, Florida, 33838. The actual community name is Seasons at Bella Vista by Richmond American. Now, you're gonna have some realtors out there that are gonna like hide this information from you because they want you to like go through them first, which I want you to go through me first as well, but I'm all about transparency here on this channel. So although I made you wait till like the middle or the end of the video to like give you this information, I want to be able to equip you with everything that you need to know from like start to finish on this process, so that when you're watching these videos, you can kind of watch one video and say, wow, I learned a lot from this guy about like finances, down payments, closing costs, what's around the area, the property tour, the drone. And that was kind of like the experience that I've been building up over time, over the last 6 to 7 years, as I've gotten better and better with the videos. We're going to be near Posner Park, Highway 27, Legoland, Publix, and I-4 access. We're going to break down what's nearby, step by step on the home buying process, mortgage numbers and everything. And I wanted to first talk about some of the employers out there. So the actual Publix supermarkets HQ is in Lakeland. These are some of the top employers that are going to be in the area. So if you're actually looking for like a job in the area, if you don't have like a job transfer lined up and you're like, I want to live in Florida, it's awesome out there, like where do I start? These are some of the, I did a quick little ChatGPT Google search, and these are some of the top employers that are in the area. You're free to obviously call them and verify that. But Lakeland Regional Health, Geico, Amazon, Polk County Public Schools, Legoland, which is a theme park right down the street, Walmart Distribution Center, you got the university there, and those are going to be some of the top employers there. Let's talk about the actual floor plan now and the house, some of the numbers, and then we're going to talk about the community a little bit, talk about where it's at, also about what the home buying process looks like. So this is the copper plan. This actual property, they have it on lot 90 right now. And I'm going to show you on their website where you can actually find the inventory. Or if you just reach out to me, I can reach out to the builder rep and they'll give me a more updated inventory list in case the website's not like updated at that moment. 393. You got the single story, the ultra garage, and you're under 400,000. We have another one in there as well with a 2-story where it was like 423 or 430. So if you need more space or a 2-story and an extra garage space, because it'll be a 2-car garage plus the ultra versus like a 1-car garage plus the ultra, that's also an option. This is a smaller floor plan, so you're just under 2,000 square feet with two cars plus, well, one car and one ultra car, I guess. HOA here is 101 a month, and you're gonna get access to 180 channels with Spectrum, as well as 1 gigabyte speed download. 1 gigabyte speed download on their fiber product. So it's gonna be fiber. So 101 there. The thing about property taxes is that there's a common misconception on how property taxes work, and everyone gets like these horror stories of like, oh my god, my taxes went up and my mortgage is out of control. So what actually happens is right now the taxes are just on the dirt that's like under the house, and then when they build the house and then the house gets sold and the sale gets recorded in public records, they're going to reassess the property taxes to correct them to what they should be with the structure on it. And I've seen it many times where if the incorrect amount is escrowed up front. So when the lender's working with your file, with the title companies, not so much the realtor, but what they're doing is they have to figure out how much is your mortgage going to be, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. How much are the taxes and insurance going to be? The insurance, they know because it's going to be an insurance quote. The principal and interest, they know because the bank's going to tell them. But those taxes, they have to figure out, what are we going to escrow every month for this to make sense, so that when the recalibration of the taxes happens, they're paying the correct amount. Well, that doesn't happen often. Often, some of these lenders and builders really want the sale, and they'll make the DTI work by, putting the lower number, which means your payment looks really good for the first year, and then it has to correct itself. And then when you get that letter that there's an escrow shortage, what's actually happening is two things are happening. The new amount, the correct amount, is being charged going forward. But then on top of that increase, they're going to add the gap of what you owed to begin with. So your bill went like, it didn't double increase, but it went up twice. And that would scare anybody. There's people that buy a brand new construction home, they get that letter, and then they're selling their house in a year. And I've been doing this long enough to kind of tell you that there are times where there's spikes in like appreciation. But appreciation doesn't happen that fast. Like, you're going to buy a home and thinking you're going to sell it in a year, you're probably not going to make profits. You're probably going to lose some money after you factor in all the fees to sell the house. Plus, if you're selling it within a year, the builder's probably still building, and they're going to like do a better deal than you are. You're not going to be able to match the deal that they're doing. So I take time breaking this down so you can be fully educated. Even if you don't use me as your realtor or a mortgage broker, you can kind of go to your people and say, hey, I watched this guy online, very good looking guy. He has 5 kids. He does a lot of great real estate things. And he said that this happens with the taxes and everything. So you're able to use this information and transfer it to whoever you're working with, or just cancel that relationship and work with me. Obviously, that's going to be the better choice. But what happens is you also can get a potential tax break with the homestead exemption, which we're going to go over later in the video as well. So what I did was I went to the Polk County Tax or Property Appraiser. It's a public website. They have different tools on their websites where you can kind of go and estimate based on the purchase price, where you're buying it, what city. And when I put a few different price points in there, it seems like the average was around like 1.6%. Different areas have different taxes. Like if you're looking like in Ocala, Marion Oaks, those are a little bit lower. They were like in the 1.4s. There's different tax rates in different areas. But in this scenario, we're using taxes at 1.6%. So it's just an estimate of about $525 a month. Homeowners insurance, about $1,500 a year, which should be around $125 a month. It's just an estimate there. And when you're buying a home, there's closing costs. And what we put for closing costs is estimated 4%. Now, the good news is this builder's helping you out with up to $25,000 in reimbursements. So depending on how we structure the offer, you might not even have any closing costs to get into this house. You just might have to pay your deposit, your down payment, probably a home inspection, and the appraisal. These numbers that we're going over today are going to be based on, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and HOA based on a 30-year fixed loan as of July 31st, 2025. So if we go with a VA loan, first option there, 100% financing, 0% down. There's a common misconception on if it's VA, there's nothing due at all. Well, yeah, there's still closing costs that are due. There's still a deposit that's due. There's still an inspection that you should pay for and an appraisal that has to get paid for. And if the property is on well water, you also need a water test. This is not on well water. This is public water and public sewer. But if it's on well water, you do need a water test as well. And some of those water tests can range between the lab and all the different tests that they have to do between $200 to like $300. And sometimes the well water fails for the first time because the water hasn't been run or it's a little muddy or whatever. And then you have to go out a filter and resend the person to go redo the well water test. So you're probably going to be in around $400, $500, $600 if you have a well situation and you're getting financing just to inspect it. Because you don't want to move in and then the water's not good, obviously. So you have to account for that as well. This actual property, we're right around 393. I put an interest rate about 6.14. But the interesting is the builder with their preferred lender, I'm giving you conservative numbers. I'm giving you the higher number, but they can get better. The builder's doing as low as 3.99% depending on the scenario. So they even have options where they can give you like a package, like a move-in ready package with a washer and dryer, a refrigerator, because in most of their homes, they're not going to offer the refrigerator or the washer and dryer or even the blinds. But they have different scenarios where they might be able to give you a move-in ready package. So these are high numbers I'm going to give you. And just know when you reach out to me, depending on what incentive they're doing, these are the regular numbers. If you bought a house like this, they're going to do a much better deal. I just don't know when you're watching this video. So I would like to give you like a regular scenario. And then when you call me, I'll get you the real reduced scenario. Principal and interest is going to be right around 24. You already know taxes and insurance. HOA is right there. No mortgage insurance for this product. Your payment is going to be in the low 3,000s. But when we actually use their lender, you should fall a little bit under $3,000 a month. If we go with an FHA loan, 3.5% down, your down payment is going to be right under $14,000, which the loan amount is $380. Interest rate right around under 7. This is going to be just the principal and interest. But then when you add the mortgage insurance, taxes, and the homeowner's insurance and the HOA, you should fall right around the low to mid 3,000s. Conventional 5%. Let's say you own a home now and you want to buy a second one. You might be able to go with a conventional 5% option. You're not going to be able to go with a 3% conventional. That's only for first-time home buyers, but you might be able to buy a second home while renting out your first home, which we have a scenario just like that right now with someone actually that's going to rent out their home and then buy a house, 5% down. So you're going to have to budget about 20K there. The loan's going to be around 375. Rates are going to be a little under 7 there, with the principal and interest being around 24.55. We have the PMI, the taxes, insurance, and HOA. You'll be right around the low to mid 3,000s as well. Let's say you're watching this video from another state and you want to buy this home as a second home or a vacation home. Well, we have a scenario where you don't have to put 20% down if it's a vacation home. We have a 10% down scenario. So right around 40K down. Loan amount's going to be around 355. Rate's going to be there. Principal and interest. You have PMI, taxes, insurance, HOA. Total monthly payment around the low 3,000s. Now, there's multiple ways to put 20% down, multiple loan scenarios. There's primary residence, 20% down. There's investment property, 20% down. There's no income verification, 20% down as well. The rates do change as the product gets riskier. So as it gets riskier, it's going to be a higher rate. So this is going to quote you here on what a primary residence full doc loan, reviewing tax returns and everything looks like. About 80K down, 315 loan amount. Monthly payment should be right around 28. What's interesting is in this scenario, you can actually do something that's called waiving escrows. So waive escrows is when you tell the bank that you want the taxes and insurance to be paid once a month separately. So you can actually have your mortgage, just the principal and interest, separate from the taxes and insurance, and you could pay that separate. This is common also with like investors who are buying investment properties where they want to cash flow better throughout the year. You can actually do that and waive the escrows and just pay your taxes and insurance once a year. The taxes are traditionally higher when it's an investment property. So is the homeowner's insurance. So is the interest rate. But if you want your own estimate, you let me know and I can put it together for you. And HOA is still going to be the same. So you're not going to change that based on your situation there. Now, I wanted to talk about a little bit about the home buying process. And then I wanted to show you guys like kind of where we're at and talk more about the community. Depending on if you're going with the builder's lender or not, I have a mortgage license as well. And with one credit pool, I'm able to shop 61 different lenders. If you're 6 months or longer before you want to buy a house, or you're like, hey, I don't want my keys until a year later, I recommend still starting the mortgage application and not doing a hard credit check and starting with a soft credit pull. Just let me know, because when you're filling it out, you actually click a box that consents to a hard credit pull. But I rather do a soft credit pull if you're like 6 months or later, just to kind of see what we're working with. But if you're like, hey, I need my keys within 3 to 6 months, hard pull right away. That definitely makes sense to do the hard pull, so we can import all the scores currently, all the liabilities, and really figure out what we can get done. So once we figure out like what the buying power is and like what the numbers are, what's important to look at is not just what you're pre-approved for. I have a lot of first-time home buyers that these banks out there tell them, yeah, you're pre-approved for this much. And can you believe that they don't ask, or they don't get told, or they don't know what the monthly payments are on those numbers until they get to me, and then they're putting offers out like in the first appointment. I've had deals where we put offers out in the first appointment, and I made the mistake of thinking that their lender did a good enough job of breaking it down to them by giving them a loan estimate. And they're like, no, I'm a pre-approved 300. And then when they see the payments, they're like, oh, no, that's way too much. So I make it a habit of asking, I see what you're pre-approved for, but what are you comfortable paying monthly? And then I take that number and I work backwards to figure out if that's your most important number monthly, you should be at this price point. And now we have a range of like where you should be shopping and where you could be shopping if you want to stretch a little bit further. See, I'm not going to sit there and try to max out your pre-approval to make the most amount of commission. I want you to stay in this house for 3, 4, 5 years or longer. I don't want you calling me in a year to try to sell it, and then you're going to be a little upside down because the appreciation hasn't happened yet in the area. That is not what I want. That is not a pleasant phone call. Not, I try to help a lot of people, but numbers are numbers, and I can't force a property to be sold for more than what it's worth. That's not an easy thing to do. So once we figure out the numbers, we got to talk about agreement options. There's different agreements on how you can be in contract with a realtor. You have an exclusive buyer broker agreement, and then you have something called a showing agreement. Showing agreement is more temporary, like we're going to see a few houses for a day or two or a week, and I've done many of those. But I do more exclusive buyer broker agreements because clients that find me want to work with me, and they tell me, hey, I want to work with you. Just get straight to it. And then we talk about the different buyer protections so that at closing, you guys can be happy like these two here. It looks like it's AI, but those are real people. Personal guidance there. As far as like, we'll give you my personal guidance on what the process looks like once we start talking. Most of how we are going to interact at the beginning is you telling me what you're looking for and me punching it into the computer, and you getting this fancy email with properties where you can kind of like save the ones that you like and favorite them. And it's a modern home search site, and it's pretty cool because I get notified once you save a property, and I'm able to quickly say, hey, you saved this property, do you want to go check it out, or do you want a video? And there's a lot of clients that are not ready yet, and I'll make videos for them on those properties. Once we find a property or multiple properties that we like, we have to put the offers in writing. This is not like New York and other states where like on the TV shows, you tell me, hey, offer them 50 grand less. And then I call them right on the phone while we're having coffee, and I'm like, hey, would you take 100 grand less? And then I just turn to the camera and say, I'm saying 100 grand because logically they're going to meet me in the middle and come back at 50, which is what the client wants. But when they do come back at 50, I'm still going to try to get 75 off. That's all on the TV shows. We have to put the offers in writing out here in Florida with a copy of a pre-approval or a proof of funds showing that you can actually buy the house. In the offer itself, we have to figure out the initial deposit, anywhere between 1 to 10%. Now, builders do it differently where they have their own contracts and they have their own set deposits. But on a traditional offer or a smaller builder, we get to write the contracts ourselves, and you get to tell me like how much you want to put as a deposit. Some people put $1,000, and then some people put more if they want to show the seller that they're more serious. And then we're going to add protective clauses into the contract. Some of the protective clauses that are super important is inspection period, appraisal, financing contingency, sale of buyer's home if you're selling your home. There's a few more as well that you can put in there as well if you need, but those are some of the main ones. Like back in the day when the market was hot, like around, I think, COVID, where houses were going for over asking, we used to have to add these clauses that were called escalation clauses, where it would be like, I want this house for 200. I don't want to lose it. I'll pay as much as 250. I will increase my offer by $1,000 to beat out the highest offer. You just got to send me a copy of the contract of someone who's bidding higher than my initial offer, and then I'll put $1,000 more. You could black out their name and everything. We were getting very complex. I got a lot of experience with complex offer writing as far as like what it was like in those last few years. So that's going to be the protective clauses there, as far as how some of the protective clauses there. Now, we're going to talk about the home inspection process and the appraisal process. So even though the home is a brand new construction and it's brand new and has warranties, I do not recommend skipping the home inspection. I feel like you have to get a home inspection. You should get a second pair of eyes or third pair of eyes to look at that house. You should pick the inspector. I shouldn't pick your inspector. The builder shouldn't pick your inspector. You should find someone with some good reviews and then connect them with me, and then I'll get them in the house, because you want to have a totally unbiased opinion. Even though I know a few inspectors, I highly recommend you find your own. So that they can go out there and they can find issues. And then we give the list of issues to the construction manager, and then they'll start working on fixing it. And then they have to do an appraisal. You're going to pay for an appraisal, $500 to $700 within a few weeks, to kind of determine what the value of the house will be. Throughout the mortgage process, there's going to be document submission, underwriting review, and there's going to be a clear to close. Once you get a clear to close, we have to figure out if you're going to be here in person to sign the final paperwork, or if you're going to do it remotely. I have a few clients that have closed in different states remotely, and even in different countries remotely. And then you're going to fund the transaction via like a wire transfer, where you send the rest of your money, the bank sends the rest of their money, and then it's time to celebrate. So you can look happy like these two here. Now, if you're buying it as a primary residence, you want to look into the Florida homestead exemption. So call a tax collector and kind of figure out how that would work. That's going to add more security to the ownership of your property, and it's going to give you a small tax break as well if it's your primary residence. You want to look into the HOA and CDD fees. You don't just want to look at the builder's website or just ask me questions. You want to call the HOA directly and ask questions. You want to get a copy of their bylaws, covenants, all these different documents that they have, so you can figure out what the rules are, what you can or can't do, so there's no surprises later, like if you can't build a shed in the back of the house or something, or you can't park on the grass, because that's what you want to do. We have other situations you could do that at. Then you want to look at the new construction benefits there, so you can these are the new construction benefits. You get a brand new house. Now I want to go over what this builder's some of the things on the builder's website. So this is the builder, Richmond American Homes, RV Boat Garage Homes, which, by the way, I don't know why they wrote that there, because in person they were very particular saying these are not RV garages. They're called ultra garages, but clearly you can see it fits an RV in there. The website's going to have their inventory, and you can kind of see their prices, like here, starting at $364 to get into that community. You can get in the community at $360. It'll be a regular home with 2,000 square feet, 432. It's a pretty nice size home. This is their slate model. This number here, 1784, it's not calculating everything, and it's not calculating with minimum down. So I would just be very careful when you're looking at the builders' websites. They do these things of like introductory numbers to get you in the door to start running your credit, and they are sharks. Like if I'm not there with you, they will find a way to get you to run your credit right on the spot, because this might sound bad, but they want to quickly filter out who's serious or not. And that's the craziest thing, because we're trying to buy a house and they're trying to sell a house, but there are key things that you can say or not say at the beginning of your interaction, or even when you're setting up the appointment, that they'll flag in your file. And the experience changes, sometimes for the worse, when you're there. We had a situation not so long ago where we made the mistake of telling the builder, yeah, we're looking, we want to see the house, but we're not ready because we got to sell a house first. That was the worst experience I've ever had at an appointment in my 6 to 7 years, because we told them too much. And that's terrible. We should have just walked in hot and said, hey, we're ready to do something. Give us your best deal or whatever. And the guy would have probably got up and walked us around. This guy stood in his office like the whole time, and we had to walk out multiple times to ask him questions. And by the way, we were not walking in like just walking. We had an appointment set up. So I later found out from a different rep that works in the same community that it was probably because we told them, like, we gave them all our cards and we said, hey, we're actually not ready to transact yet. But what's crazy was that put such a bad taste in the client's mouth about the builder overall. So that's terrible there. So don't go to a builder without your realtor, and let your realtor, call in so we can give them just enough information to make them motivated, but not too much to demotivate them. So you have all the properties here. If you start scrolling down, you can kind of see that we start off with the copper when we have the ultra garage right at $393. And then if you want a bigger floor plan, that's the 1960 floor plan.
If you want a bigger floor plan, we start going into the zinc model here at 2130. They do have another one, Tourmaline, which is a huge home, 2670. But if you are specifically looking for that ultra garage, you'll be here at 423. So you're in between 390 to like 430 as far as like what it looks like to get into that type of home there. The website is going to give you some information there about the community. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to map out some of the things in the area because it's important for you to know where you're going to move to. So what I did was I opened up Google Maps, obviously, and I have the address here set up. And now I want to figure out where a few important things are so you guys can get an idea of where we're working from. Because a lot of people, they see cities like Dundee, Ocala, and they're like, where are we? So this is where we're at on the map. This is Orlando right here, and we're in the south. Lakeland's right here. St. Petersburg is here. Tampa is somewhere over here. So we are south of Orlando, east of Tampa. Ocala's up here. Miami's down here somewhere. Let's get started with figuring out the closest like airports. So if we go to Orlando Airport, depending on traffic, about 59 minutes. So 1 hour to Orlando. If we go to Tampa Airport, we're about an hour and 26 minutes. So depending on where your flight is coming from or going to, you have 1 hour to 1 hour and 30 minutes. I would still recommend trying to get there 2 hours early. Let's see where the nearest beaches are as far as like the beaches. So if you want to go, well, let's just type in some of the beaches here. Clearwater Beach. So Clearwater Beach is about 2 hours from there. What other beaches are going to be close by? So over here on the other side, let's say, so 2 hours to Clearwater. Looks like there's heavy traffic right now at the time of this video that I'm watching. I'm recording this video like at 9 in the morning on a Thursday. So depending on if you go like on a Sunday morning, there might be less traffic, but you're about 82 miles. Let's say Cocoa Beach. Okay, so it's green, so a little bit less traffic, more miles driven that way. So Cocoa Beach is over there it's about 2 hours. So you're about 2 hours away from the beaches from this location here. Now, as far as like grocery, because you got to eat, 6 minutes, 1.7 miles. It's not really walking distance. That's like a 35-minute walk. Unless you want to get some steps in there, you could walk. A lot of places in Florida are not really walking distance. But 6 minutes there to some grocery. You get that Winn-Dixie right there. Let's see how close the Walmart is. About 10 minutes there. I think the closest Target is it in Davenport? Yeah, it's north in Davenport. That's the closest Target. But they're building another one, I think in Haines City somewhere. So you might have a Target there. And they're building one in Winter Haven as well, I think. So depending on when you're watching this video, if it's 3, 4, 5 years later, they might already have those Targets there. But right now the Target's 16 miles away. So it's quite a hike, about 30 minutes. Let's say we want to go to a movie theater. I'm not sure if I spelled that right. So 10 minutes. So we have 10 minutes for movie theater right there. That's going to be in Winter Haven, I believe. And then if you go to where the Target is at in Davenport, in 30 minutes, you'll have another movie theater there as well. Hospital. You got a hospital right there within 5 minutes. And then let's say you want to go to some theme parks. You want to have some fun. There's one down the street called Legoland. So you have about 16 minutes to get to Legoland. So I would recommend getting like an annual pass. They also have a cool like Peppa Pig park in there as well. So you got Legoland there. So you want to go to Universal, which is in Orlando. That's about an hour away. And Disney is about 42 minutes away. So I would say get a cool little annual pass. They have this great annual pass. I think it's like 20, 30 bucks a month. And it's like $100 down. I think it's called the Pixie Pass. It's a weekday pass. They have different passes. But their lowest entry pass right now is the weekday pass, which who even wants to go on the weekend? It does have blackout dates for like special holidays, busy times, and weekends. But who wants to go to the park in those times? I find that so valuable that they're going to tell me when I can't go, because that's also when I shouldn't go, in my opinion. So I love that pass tells me, hey, we might be super busy at these times. And I'm like, great, let me stay away from there. 42 minutes to that Disney right there. Let's say you want to go to SeaWorld, about an hour away, depending on this rush hour traffic right now. And that's pretty much a lot of the destinations. Let me know also in the comments, what are other things that you look for as far as destinations, so in future videos I can kind of add that to like these map scenarios that we're doing here. But sorry that this was so long. I just wanted to be super informative. That's the end of the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to, I think, 3,000 subscribers right now. And drop a like on the video as well.